When I found out my nephew wanted a car shaped like a dinosaur for Christmas, I got to work because I knew this was a dream I could make a reality. This whole project started when I saw this Jeep Power Wheel on sale at Amazon for just 99 bucks. So I jokingly told my cousin that I was gonna buy his son, who's 3, a Power Wheel for Christmas, but my wife wouldn't let me, which wasn't true, it was just testing the water. And he laughed and he said, my kid has been asking for a dinosaur go-kart. He has this little advent calendar that are like little Hot Wheel cars that have dinosaur heads on the front of them. Once I knew that, and I knew his dad didn't care, I decided I had to figure out how to make my nephew a dinosaur go-kart, or dinosaur car, dinosaur Power Wheel. This thing's like 3 miles an hour, but the kid's also 3. He doesn't really need super fast. What is this material? Well, it didn't cut like I thought it would. I've actually already started working on the part that's gonna turn this to dinosaur, because that was gonna be the hard part. Can I actually make a dinosaur? Hopefully we didn't make that too big, because this is a little smaller than I thought it might be. Before I even ordered the Power Wheel, the first thing I wanted to do is to see if I could even draw a Tyrannosaurus Rex's head. I was pretty happy with how this came out. The next step was I wanted to draw some divisions. I want the lower jaw to be able to open and close. This first section is going to be the middle section, which will kind of hold the whole thing together. With that traced out, I then made a cut so I can make 2 of these kind of upper jaw sections, or head sections. I'll also cut out 2 of these lower jaw sections, which I kept slightly off frame so it would be more mysterious. I then spent a while using my cheap scroll saw to cut out all these pieces. I included this poorly lit time lapse of me cutting out dinosaur pieces in the dark so my nephew has videographic proof that I am indeed his best uncle. I then spent some time with a file and some sanding tools to really make sure I shaped the teeth, being that they're the most prominent feature of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I usually cut out the sound left behind when you speed up one of these time lapses, but for some reason, the high-pitched noise just reminded me of what it sounded like to work on teeth. I didn't just want a head on the front of the Power Wheel, I also decided I needed like a set of T-Rex arms to go onto the doors. I just traced out what I thought a dinosaur arm would look like and cut this out of quarter-inch plywood. So let's start getting this thing together and see if we can dinosaurize it. This is just a little 6-volt battery Power Wheel. Once he outgrows it, in terms of he needs a bigger Power Wheel, there's ways to power up these things. This little Jeep was pretty straightforward to put together. You start assembly with the rear axle, and this thing is just 1-wheel drive. Then you just move to the front and put together the front steering mechanism thing. And with both wheels attached, made out of the highest quality hard plastic, you can flip it over and add the steering wheel. The windscreen just snaps into place. I don't know how crash rated that is, but the seat panels are held into place with 2 wood screws, and the child can be held into place with a 5-point harness. And of course, the most important safety feature of all, a roll bar, for when your kid Evel Knievel's himself over a sick jump. It's not quite dinosaur yet, but it's gonna be. We are up here painting. My daughter is working on her scale pattern. So I want to glue dino face together. We painted the tongue, my son did that, and the black part, and the inside of the teeth, the parts that'll be hard to get to when this is glued together. So this is gonna glue here, and then the other one will glue on the other side.
That's a lot of glue.
Bessie, the best clam. I have glued this up, but what I gotta glue up now is the lower jaw. So the way the lower jaw is gonna work is I cut a little piece that goes in between there, but it's mostly gonna be open. Slide into there. Oh, see, that's why I wanted, that's why I checked it. I can't have it extend to, this is the worst pencil. I'll cut that off. Glad we tested it.
Oh, it's gonna open?
Yes, it's gonna open.
I'll like chop his hand off.
This is a quick time lapse of my daughter and I painting the T-Rex head. I'm not gonna talk over the whole thing, so take the 19 seconds and enjoy the dinosaur coming to life. drilled a hole where I felt the center of rotation should be. And then... No, I could drill that little hole. I drilled this hole through the jaw using my little tiny drill press, but this guy won't fit in my little tiny drill press. But I think if I use the sleeve kind of as a guide, I should be able to keep that pretty up straight. Good enough. Just gonna go through here. It should pass. Yep, okay. I should be able to beat that into the upper jaw. Where's my hammer? All right, don't break. This hopefully will engage. It's too tight. There you go. The first charge on these things takes 12 hours, so make sure you charge it before you give it to somebody. One of the things people complain about is the way the remote works. I mean, it's not like a race car. But it works fine. It works great. It takes a second to switch from forward to backwards. But again, this is for a 3-year-old. It has atrocious turn radius. Oh, sorry. I see you standing there. No project of mine would truly be my project unless I did at least something as lazily as possible. So I decided to attach these arms to the door with some zip ties. I did make sure the heads of the zip ties were kind of pushed behind this recess though, so he couldn't easily scratch his elbows on the top of the zip ties. That looked like he has dinosaur arms. Oh, I like that. Wish there was some way to make that louder. In order to increase the destructive potential of this gift, I decided to add a tail to the back. So I drew out a tail shape on some plywood, cut it out with the jigsaw, sanded it smooth, then cut it into 6 equal segments. With the tail pieces secured to my workbench, I used an oscillating tool to cut a little slot. Into this slot, I should be able to fit a little hinge, and after cutting a slot into the adjoining piece, I can then attach the 2 pieces together so the tail can have some wiggle. I then very tediously cut a whole bunch of more slots. I decided to cover half of the hinges in tape. That turned out not to be useful. Then using 5-minute epoxy, I attached half of the hinges because I knew if I tried to do the whole thing in one go, I would really have screwed it up. Let those dry. Oh my god, it's gonna take forever to get this tape off, so I'm gonna pause. You don't have to watch that. I think this is gonna work, because look, if you line these up, push them together, hit floppy doos. So yeah, we're just gonna go down a line and put all these together. I actually decided to go ahead and do this in 2 more batches. I didn't want to try to tear this thing up trying to get this together in one go. And then I got the last together. Let's see. Oh yeah. The next step is to decide, should I just leave it free willy-nilly? You know, I could have put some tension on these. Like put some rubber bands on each side, and then that would probably try to hold it straight. We'll just have to see what it does when we start driving. I used standard American measurements to determine the mounting space I had on the hood of the Power Wheel. The windshield was roughly 1 hand wide, and the hood was 1 hand and a thumb long by the edge of my thumb to the tip of my fingers wide. Then I used my digital angle finder to determine the relationship between the windshield and the hood. The space to mount the tail was roughly 1/2 foot by 1 foot. I marked and cut the angle on 2 sides of a 2x4, and then I cut the 2x4 in half. I then just eyeballed an angle to cut off of here to get rid of some of the bulk. This is the piece of wood for the hood and for the windshield, which I made in secret. Then using the chunk of 2x4 with a spacer between them the width of the dino head, or at least the part of dino head that'll be going in here, I glued this whole contraption together. I'm basically making a block that'll sit on the hood and the windshield that the dino head can slide into. This is a demonstration of it working. For the tail, I cut a block of wood from my foot measurements, and then I clamped a couple of pieces together to create this little channel. I did realize I needed a stop at the bottom. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make another piece that'll sit at a perpendicular to the base of the tail. I'll screw and attach that to the tail. I decided this would be fairly weak, so I went ahead and stiffened it up with 2 blocks on either side. This will definitely keep it stronger. All right, we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna do one more thing to reinforce it, which I think will make it super strong. Rawr! All right, cut that. Let's see if it fits. Oh my God, it does. Does that look like a good angle?
Yeah.
I'm gonna mount this into here, then you can paint it.
Okay, his arms kind of look like feet.
No.
Yes.
They're like this. All right, let me go glue this together, and then we can finish painting it. With the children helping to paint, and the dinosaur head securely attached to its mounting block, we are progressing towards the end. This is the tail mounting block. I drilled the 4 holes that's gonna be used to hold it to the back. So that's gonna be black. Yeah, dinosaur head. This thing's gonna be awesome. Using my Total Boat Epoxy, who I am an affiliate for. If you use the code in my, whatever it's called, use the link in my description if you want like a discount. I need a nice glamour shot of me pumping. I don't know how much this is gonna take, so we're just gonna do 3 pumps, and then we're gonna use some wood filler to thicken it to like a thick peanut butter. And we're going to fillet the seams, and you'll see what that means here in a second. This is again a canoe or kayak building trick. It needed to be thick because it's got to hold its shape. This one's going to stick out of the back of that car, and I need this to be particularly strong. There's a couple ways to do this. The easier way would have been to put this in like a pipette bag. Ta-da, I guess. Let me do the other side. Just so you know, if I had put this in a pipetting bag, this would have been way easier. I don't know why I thought I could just free ball this. Once that sets up, I can paint it. But if you get some everywhere, like I did, and you want to clean it up, Asproplol is great for cleaning this stuff up. There we go. You'd think I'd have learned my lesson and gone ahead and pipetted this, but no. This part I'm not really doing for strength as much as just to make it look kind of more molded-y and plasticky. Let that dry. It's Christmas Eve, time to get this thing finished. I got the little bases painted. That's super strong now. That's good. I bolted this little block onto the back of this thing. Actually I haven't tried this with the paint. This is gonna be fine. All right, good. It slides in there. I decided not to do the rubber bands on here and just let that flop around all willy-nilly. This is gonna go right here, right there, and then I'm gonna just drill through this windscreen. Let's put this first bolt in. I think once that's in there, it'll hold it good. Oh, little paddly-do on the front of here. Give me a little extra threads. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. Really squeeze that stuff together. Let's go vacuum out the inside of it, and then we'll attach the front. Just go in the hole. Ta-da! We can't have a T-Rex wheel if we don't have a T-Rex sound. So I ordered this. This little thing, it's got a bunch of different sounds. If I was normal, I would probably just Velcro this to the dashboard, but I really want it to have a specific button where he could push the button and make the T-Rex sound. I got this little electric screwdriver kit from Hand Boost. They told me they were gonna send it to me, and then I never heard from them. And then weeks later, this thing showed up. And I asked the person what they wanted from a video, and I never heard from them again. I figured I would use it for this. It's just a little electric driver. Oh, it's got a bunch of different powers. Let's crank this all the way up. Oh yeah, look at that. So I'm pretty sure all you have to do is bridge the gap. All I have to do is attach this to this and that momentary switch, and it should work. That worked too easily. You're supposed to breathe this stuff, right? And we're done with the Tyrannosaurus car power wheel thing. It turned out pretty good. I'm very happy with our painting abilities of the T-Rex and shaping abilities. The tail, I thought about doing the rubber bands, but the chances of me being able to get that actually balanced is slim to none, so we'll just let it flop around as he drives. The button for the roar, and all I did was drill a hole right there. If you come underneath, that's the box. So I just zip tied it. The jaw does open and close. Arms will be right next to him, so it's like you are the dinosaur. The door's open. It is Christmas Eve, and it's done. Could I have done things less lazy? Probably. Would it really have been any better? Also probably. But that is good enough. Let's see this thing drive around. It doesn't really have a brake, but it also doesn't get fast enough to really need one. It has a terrible turning radius.